Imagine this. Manchester United's new manager is only 1 month older than Cristiano Ronaldo. And he's not just any young manager. He is Ruben Amorim, the guy who's been ripping it up with Sporting. 10 straight wins in the league, second in the Champions League with 3 wins and a draw, including a complete smackdown on Guardiola's Man City. Sounds insane, right? But it doesn't stop there. His team has scored 44 goals in 14 matches this season and conceded just 5. How is a manager this young pulling off numbers that make even the veterans look average? And most importantly, could he be the guy United has been looking for since Sir Alex left? As a player, Amorim commanded the midfield, carving out his legacy with Belenenses and later with Benfica, where he picked up a massive 10 major trophies, including 3 league titles. He even represented Portugal, playing in 2 World Cups and earning 14 caps for his country. But on April 4, 2017, after spending a year on the sidelines, Amorim, then only 32, decided to walk away from the game. He bid farewell to his playing day, but his journey was far from over. After hanging up his boots, Amorim turned to coaching, joining the Lisbon Football Association to earn his coaching license. By 2018, he kicked off his managerial journey with lower division side Casapia, but it wasn't smooth sailing. After 2 painful losses and doubts creeping in, he swore he'd quit if he lost again. So he tried something new, adopting a back 3 formation, and suddenly Casapia went on an unbeatable run. But then came a twist. He got suspended for a year because he was giving match instructions without the proper coaching license. Even though the ban was lifted, he chose to resign. In 2019, Amorim stepped into the spotlight with Braga B, where he won 7 of his first 8 matches, and even led the B team to outperform Braga's first team. By December, Braga's senior team was struggling in 8th place, so they turned to Amorim. In his very first match as head coach, he led them to a massive 7-1 win. 3 weeks later, Braga lifted the League Cup, beating Porto in the final. That was Braga's first trophy in 4 years. And then came the legendary moment, a 1-0 win over Benfica at their own ground. Braga's first away win over Benfica in 65 years. By the end of his Braga stint, he'd notched up 10 wins in 13 matches, losing only twice. It was an insane run that quickly drew comparisons to none other than Jose Mourinho, the original special one. Meanwhile, Sporting CP was in shambles. Back in 2018, fans had stormed the training ground, attacking players and causing top talents like Rafael Leao to terminate their contracts. By March 2020, Sporting was desperate for a revival. That's when they signed Amorim, paying 10 million euros to make him their coach. The third most expensive managerial transfer in history. People were stunned. I mean, Sporting literally spent more on him than they did on most players, but they were desperate for a hero, and that's exactly what they got. In his first full season with Sporting, Amorim turned things around. He brought in young talents like Daniel Bragança, Gonçalo Inácio, Matheus Nunes, and Nuno Mendes, injecting new life into the squad. The result? Sporting went on an unbelievable 32-match unbeaten streak and lost only once that season. On May 11, 2021, they won their first league title in 19 years. For this, Amorim was awarded the Primeira Liga's Manager of the Year. He'd done it. He brought Sporting back to glory, and he did it with style. Under Amorim, Sporting became a defensive fortress, conceding only 20 goals in the entire league campaign. Sporting was solid at the back, creative up front, and ruthless in finishing. In the 2021-22 season, they beat Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League, securing their first knockout stage spot since 2008-09. They even won their 3rd consecutive League Cup, beating Benfica. And yeah, they faced some heartbreaks too, like a tough 5-0 aggregate loss to Manchester City in the Champions League. But Amorim's winning percentage and his team's transformation were undeniable. Sporting scored 73 goals that season, and defensively they were a brick wall. By the 2022-23 season, however, things got tougher. Bigger clubs came for his players, with Matheus Nunes heading to Wolves and João Palhinha to Fulham and Pedro Porro to Spurs. Sporting lost their core, and it showed. They finished 4th in the league, struggling to maintain the same defensive solidity, but from Coventry City for 20 million euros. And Gyökeres didn't disappoint, contributing 37 goals and 12 assists across all competitions. In October, after United sacked Erik ten Hag, Sporting announced that United was set to trigger Amorim's 10 million euro release clause. By November 1st, Manchester United officially named him head coach on a contract through 2027. So as Amorim steps into Old Trafford, he's got a monumental task ahead. He'll need to weave his tactical identity into the squad, get the players on board with his vision, and of course bring in fresh talent when the January window opens. He's got the experience and tactical adaptability. Now he just needs the time and support to make his mark. The big question is, will Amorim be able to bring the glory days back to Old Trafford? Amorim's tactical style isn't just impressive. It's why so many Premier League clubs have been after him. Even before he joined Manchester United, he was on the radar for Liverpool and West Ham. He took a trip to the UK last season to meet with West Ham's reps, which tells you he's been in demand. But what makes Amorim's approach so special? Let's break it down. On paper, Amorim's Sporting team lined up in a 3-4-3 or sometimes 3-4-2-1 formation. But it was never just about formations. His style is all about possession, fluid attacking, attacking moves, and a rock-solid defensive setup. One of the keys to Amorim's build-up play is how he positions his midfielders. Instead of keeping them flat, he staggers them across different lines, which helps them break through the center of the pitch. This gives them more ways to progress the ball, making it tougher for the opponents to shut them down. At the same time, the wingbacks stay high and wide, stretching the field to pull defenders out of position. And right ahead, his two attacking midfielders sit in those tricky half spaces, keeping close to the central striker. That setup forces defenders to make hard choices, as they are always guessing who to cover next. When playing out from the back, Amorim often goes for a 4-2-2-2 shape. Last season, Sebastian Coates, who normally is a center back, would step up to the midfield line. This creates better passing options and made it easier for Sporting to work the ball wide and push forward. Coates' movement not only created better passing lanes, but also helped Sporting build up play smoothly and break down opposition defenses. It's these little tweaks, positioning his midfielders in layers, using wingbacks to stretch play, and having center backs step up into midfield, that make Amorim's tactics so unpredictable. It's a unique system that keeps the opposition guessing. So how Ruben Amorim's system could fit with Manchester United's current squad? It's pretty clear that while there are some compatible pieces, a one-to-one transfer of his system from Sporting to United would be far from straightforward. Amorim thrives in flexibility, particularly in his back three setup, and the players at Sporting give him tactical leverage. He might not find it in Manchester right away. For example, while United does have center backs like Lisandro Martinez, who can handle possession and progress the ball forward, his ability to defend in wider areas may raise some doubts, especially considering how much emphasis Amorim places on center backs who can shift wide in his system. Martinez could slot in well on the left off a back three in possession, but questions about his defensive coverage remain. This is an area where Amorim's system really diverges from United's usual setup. Amorim's wingbacks play a crucial role, not only in defending, but also in providing width and creating scoring opportunities. Manchester United would need more athletic, attacking-minded wingbacks who can handle both the defensive and creative demands in a 3-5-2 or 3-4-3. Luke Shaw could fit this role if he stays fit, and Diogo Dalot might work on the right, but neither of them fully matches the aggressive attacking style of Amorim's wingbacks. United might consider converting some attacking players like Antony or Jadon Sancho to wingback roles to get the attacking width, but this would be a gamble defensively. In the midfield, Casemiro offers a solid option as a defensive anchor, similar to the ball-winning roles in Amorim's system. To complement him, a more creative midfielder would be ideal, someone like Christian Eriksen or Mason Mount, who can control the tempo and offer flexibility in pushing forward. United could play with a two-man midfield for more structure, or push one of the midfielders into the attacking line for a 3-2-5 shape during build-up. However, transitioning to this would demand a lot of players like Bruno Fernandes, who may have to play deeper in certain setups, even though his best role is closer to the forwards, where he can create and score. In attack, United does have the versatility to mimic some aspects of Sporting style, with a target forward option like Rasmus Højlund, similar to Victor Gyökeres at Sporting and Marcus Rashford's pace. Amorim could work with different forward profiles. Højlund can hold up play and stretch defenses, creating opportunities for Rashford and Fernandes to make runs or exploit spaces. Ultimately, Manchester United's roster has potential for Amorim's style, but lacks specialist wingbacks and center-backs suited to a three-at-the-back formation. United would need to make some adjustments in the transfer market to fully execute his vision, particularly to find wingbacks who can balance defense and attack, and additional center-backs who excel in wider spaces. This might mean prioritizing new wingbacks and another versatile center-back in upcoming transfer windows to get Amorim's system firing on all cylinders. Let me know down in the comments, what do you think about Amorim's fit with the squad, and which players you think he should build around. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos on all things football. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.